well, maybe not as easily to specific healing frequencies or whatever, but yeah, we are the temple too. So I just want to remind everybody that we have a lot of agency and a lot
on
of
either
power.
side of your.
What's up, folks? This is Red Brick Bob, aka Chief. I'm rebroadcasting Gen and Electric Gnosis. So, like, share, and subscribe. Peace. Let's listen.
Created in these buildings.
Yeah.
Sweet. Now here you could see they have the hats on, the headgear with the tech on top.
Yeah.
And it's gold. Obviously, you would want it to be gold, and this is what you would put on your head to tune into the ether, or beyond the ether, say beyond the veil, even.
Or even if it's not that far. I'm not saying it isn't, but even just another thing that like can help get people there is even today there are things that they make that will ionize the air, right? And breathing ionized air is highly beneficial. It's highly healing, and even a waterfall will ionize the air. So even if they weren't using this for telepathy or remote communication, at the very least, it could have been used to have the right metals and shape and fractal geometry to induce vortices and ionize the air around them to make them healthier. Maybe. Just a thought.
Absolutely. I think, all this discomfort and dis-ease and this type of stuff was not non-existent. And if it did exist in any fashion, it would be quickly eliminated in a extremely non-invasive way. Here it talks about the Black women and how they used to make their hair like coned up on their head.
And
and
the cone and the torus.
Yeah, exactly. But they had a natural connection to it. And this is why they have everybody Black women trying to straighten their hair out all the time. They shouldn't straighten their hair out. Yeah. And sometimes they look like pineal glands on top, or that like
the
pineal
pine cone,
like a pine cone, yes, a pine cone shape.
It's
on
the
top
same
of
thing. That the name pineal gland came from the pine cone.
Yeah. Exactly. Yes. And here they're actually showing the temple with the tech on top.
There you go.
Here.
Yeah. Wow. This page has got it all together. Yeah,
and then this guy here has it on his head as well, which goes straight down his spine all the way down to the seated here. So it's definitely set up the same way. The spine of Osiris, why they call it that. All the Egyptian hieroglyphs, in my opinion, are instructions, electrical instructions. They're not spiritual and all this stuff with the gods. I have another site that I'm going to show you, that I show everybody here on the show when I talk about this electrical stuff with the hieroglyphs. So on this site here, they talk about the Ankh, the Djed, and the Waz scepter. These three pieces right here, these three hieroglyphs are electrical components, and that's what they're symbolizing. And this is just the way they drew them back then. They are electrical symbols. You would have to go to school to learn what all of them mean and all this stuff like that. And each one has a specific meaning. So in this depiction here, the Waz scepter which is on the left here, this one right here, represents power and the flow of, let me start over here. Let me go over right here. The Waz scepter, my screen is not working. Hold on the top left, represents power and flowed through the Ankh. And it can also be seen going through the middle of the Ankh in the picture at the top.
What does it look like? It's been turned into a staff that a shepherd uses in modern day times, and they also call it a crook, because the ones that turned it into a staff instead of an electric symbol are crooks.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I didn't think of that. That's funny. All right, so the Djed, okay, which is this one on the right, the Djed pillar, which, as you notice, there's columns everywhere in the old world, pillars, columns, whatever you want to call them. The Djed is a symbol of ancient African culture, which represents concepts related to stability, representing voltage. So we have voltage right here.
Well, what's interesting too with that is I think the D is silent. It would be Jed, kind of like Django.
Yeah,
And
DJ.
in the old world, there's this thing called phonetic drift where you got to think certain cultures can't make the sounds that other cultures make. So you get like Jeshua, Yeshua, you get Bianca, Vianca, you get Aryans and aliens, the L's and the R's. And so what ends up happening is that a sound like Z could be a J, a Z, a DJ, right? So Jed, it seems like a lot of the Jesus, Zeus, Jed, it's all humming electrical DJ, Z.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
Type onomatopoeia, right? The sound of the words make. So I always thought that was like interesting.
Yeah, definitely. So we got voltage for the DJed. I always say DJed. It's Jed, whatever you want to call it.
Well, it's like the Jedi Force. It's the Jedi Force.
Right,
Star Wars
totally.
stole their idea about the Jedi from. Yeah, you can say whatever you want, but yeah, Jed, but that's cool. Whatever.
So we got the Ankh, which is a symbol from ancient African culture, which represents life and the flow of current. So that's interesting. So now we have voltage, we have current, and then you add in the Waz scepter, and it has concepts related to power. Because once you have voltage, you have current, then you have power.
George Washington.
So here you see Ptah, the god Ptah, holding this this contraption in his hand, all put together. Yeah. Hold on, my mouse isn't working here for some reason. Let me flip my thing over. All right, there we go. Let me close that out. There we go. So yeah, the site's really interesting, and how they were using this tech, like this stuff right here, where it looks like they're putting the Ankh and the DJ towards his mouth. They decipher the hieroglyphs how they want us to perceive them.
Yeah, they're probably ionizing copper and inhaling ionized copper there, probably.
It could be. It could be something like that very well. It could be. Let me go back over to the Jacob's ladder. Okay. So, and also we saw the pharaohs with the cone-shaped hats on. They could have also had cone heads as well. I don't know. But they did wear elongated type things that look like the, what is that gland? It's not the pineal gland. It's another one. It begins with a TH. I forget what it's called.
Thalamus?
Thalamus, yes. The hats that they wore had kind of like a bulbous thing on the end of it. It looks like the thalamus. Yeah. You might show it in here. I'm not sure. Again, though, it's all tech. You can see the DJ here. You can see the inside of the pyramid. This is inside a temple right here. Of course, you have the gear, the headgear that you wear on top. This is on top of a temple right here. It's same tech, stacking plasma energy. And it's all connected, even the electromagnetic pulse of the plane, our plane itself, and our frequency is
human resonance.
We are lings of the earth. We're earthlings.
Lingam. I like it.
Yeah. So I find all this stuff so fascinating. I think there was, and here you were talking about the musical notes too. It goes with that as well. As you can see here.
And a lot of the old constructions, the megaliths, were built with specific ratios like 4-5 or 5-4, and you find a lot of those same ratios in music, the way that like chords are formed or the relationships between notes that harmonize and stuff like that. So yeah, it's amazing. It's so beautiful that at one point they had all this figured out, right? And like people like Plato and Pythagoras hinted at it, how everything's connected, everything's music and math and ratios and harmonies, and Tesla hinted at it with all his vibration, right? And it's just unbelievable how undeniable all this is. And then something cataclysmic had to happen for us to lose this knowledge, right?
Absolutely. When they were resetting everything and starting over, they changed a lot of names to things. They took away a lot of technology that was, just out and about and in the open, got rid of it all, and gave us this type of rudimentary, dirty energy, not clean energy that we're using. People are putting fires in supposedly fireplaces when they had elements that were in there that heated the buildings.
Radium,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, radium.
Plus the people they mention, Pythagoras and Tesla. It's already been done. They didn't do nothing. They didn't invent nothing. And they reiterate the timelines and stories. So I wanted to emphasize that.
And all that. So they really hid it from us for a long time. But now, I feel like we're in the apocalypse and everything that's been hidden is coming to light because we're at the end of the book. We're at the end of the game, I think. So
Well,
it doesn't matter to them really if we know now or not, because it's.
Well, but also, like, you can only stop the collective ingenuity of humanity for so long, no matter how brainwashed they are, right? And
Yeah,
apocalypse comes from Greek, so apo means away from, and calypso was the Greek goddess of illusion. So it's like away from the illusion,
that's right.
the uncovering, the
The
unveiling.
awakening.
That
Yeah,
it's
the
not like,
unveiling.
oh my God, it seems the world, but I mean,
Yeah,
it's
they all
that
think it's,
too.
yeah, a lot of people think it means the end of the world. It just means the revealing. And
Yeah,
I think a
but I
lot of
mean,
this stuff is being revealed through us,
yeah, yeah, and I think we're gonna get a Ragnarok type plasma event too. But yeah, it's
Do you think there's one coming up? I feel like we're in line
oh
for one.
yeah, and I think the more I look into it, the more it seems to be tied to two things. The magnetic field is weakening. That's the veil. Magnetic field. There's been tons of research in Russia and in the United States. It's been declassified, where it shows that on days where the magnetic field is weaker, telepathy, remote viewing, ESP, all that stuff goes up. So it's weakening. So that's the veil to our telepathy, but it's also the veil. It's what keeps the aurora borealis. It's what keeps the northern lights from being seen in more southern, well, away from the center or away from the north, right? However you want to look at it.
Right.
But when the magnetic field is the resistance to that, and what's happening more and more in the past couple of years is people are seeing those lights in further south places away from the north, right? So when there's going to be a magnetic inversion, right? And it's tied to the magnetic field weakening, and it's tied to what's called the grand solar minimum. And every period in history that's had a grand solar minimum has had at least like decades of just like crop failures, radiation disease, plagues, all kinds of different stuff. So I think it's really tied to that. And it sure looks like that next grand solar minimum is going to be between 2030. Like some say we already are starting to be in it, which I think we are, but like really ramping up come late 2030, early 2040.
Well, you're more optimistic than I am.
I mean, I'm just telling you some of the research that comes together for me. I think that the veil is really, really going to thin by the end of the year, and some things that point me in that direction be hard to really condense in a short amount of time. So I think I'll skip it. But yeah, I think it's going to be hard to ignore the signs in the sky. There's going to be signs and wonders leading up to this event. I think at the latest by December of this year, it's going to be undeniable to some.
Yeah, I agree. I think that we don't have much more time, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think any man knows the hour, and I ultimately think that it's a
definitely. I do not know the hour or the time, but I do feel like it's getting a lot closer. They have their Lucifer telescope. Their Lucifer telescope, it's called Lucifer, right? Keeping their eye on something up there.
They're watching, yeah. That's all the monuments are aligned.
They're watching Polaris. That's what they're watching, because Polaris is at the center of our electromagnetic field at the very top. And if you go straight down to the center, you'll be at the Axis Mundi, which is at the Rupus Nigra.
And it used to be Thuban from the Draconis constellation or something.
Right. So if you go within the interior of our Earth, straight down under that is the black hole sun. I
agree.
And I think what's going on when this God's judgment, this reset, this plasma event that takes place, I think Polaris is moving out of its position and it's coming down, and the black hole sun is also moving out of its position and coming up to a certain point. and that is creating an electromagnetic discharge between maybe the sun and the moon, somewhere in that area there. If you look at the Masonic drawings, they usually have the all-seeing eye at the top with rays coming out of it. It's a human eye. It's not an evil-looking eye. It doesn't look reptilian or anything. It just looks like a regular eye.
It's an eye in the sky
scary about it.
Yeah.
That's them telling them, not us, that they are keeping their eye on Polaris, that star. And then some drawings, you'll see Polaris, the star, move down between the sun and the moon in their Masonic drawings.
I love it, because if that's another anode and the Earth is a cathode, and they get close enough, that would create a discharge, and that discharge would fry out this place, right?
Exactly,
I just kind of started recently. I put out a vid that was like talking about how all this seems to be one of the central figures that gets overlooked in all this is the black hole sun, which is directly below the pole star, which is directly below Rufus Nigra. Yeah, and it seems like it might be the center of our known realm, but part of me also thinks about this sometimes is it's only the point really that, as far as we know, right, of the strongest magnetic attraction, right? Anywhere a compass, if you get close to a major magnetic source, it'll register that close magnetic source as north. So a strong magnetic source will throw off a compass. So what happens? What if that's only one, and we're on a, I just think about that sometimes. It might not be the center even. That might be, but it could be. But it could also just be the strongest point of magnetism, and we could have a larger realm than we're aware of.
Oh yeah, definitely we could. I think ours is probably separated off from the other ones. There seems to be the landmass that they say is the ice wall, which it's a landmass. There's a reason why they're not letting anybody pass the 60th parallel, and it's not because they're going to see ice. It's because they're going to see land. We have 33 in the chat, guys. 33 in the chat.
Yes, and you're right. You're right. Just like what was it, Admiral Byrd? Even though he was a gratuitous builder, like there's some truth in the stuff that he was talking about, right? And yeah, I think that the funny thing is that I don't even think there's a South Pole, because if there was, when you got to the equator, your compass would spin, because it wouldn't know which strong magnetic source was the one it should be pointing to, right? So really, our compass shouldn't read north. It should read, where is the strongest magnetic source? And when it finds that, everything away from it is south.
Right.
Speaking, right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
So there can't be a South Pole, because the compass would spin and spin and spin when you got to the halfway point, and it simply doesn't do that. You have to go away from north to get south. So everything away from north, magnetic north, is south, right?
Right.
Crazy.
Yeah, it is.
There could be other strong magnetic sources out there. Yeah, and we'll find, if we fly beyond ours, we'll find those.
Yeah,
but
and
there seems to be some kind of seal to this place too. So.
Yeah, we seem to be not allowed out to certain locations and places.
Yeah, there's a reason that so many countries that always fight can agree on one thing, and that one thing is to keep us away from the Antarctic Circle, right? Exactly. And it was called a circle, right? Why was it called a circle? If
Exactly. Yes. I do think, there's a lot of stuff going on outside of the land masses, outside of our realm, other lands and people, races of people, if you will. They may even be the ones that come in and help reset this place with the population. Because we did cover, my co-host and I, Shapu, we've covered giant ships that are covered like arcs. And not a lot of people have heard of them or even seen them before, but they were called hulks. And they say that they were prison ships, but were they actually prison ships, or were they bringing people in to, populate these different lands? We heard the notion of the ship of fools, where
but also the crystal ship by the doors, the crystal ship too.
Okay, yeah, there you go.
I want to make sure, because I always want to make sure when I'm talking about this stuff that I'm responsible. Okay, and this stuff can create a lot of fear, and I want to make sure everybody doesn't get fearful from this, because I think it's important to retain our own agency with this. And when we're fearful, we're real quick to give up our agency, and we're easy to control when we're fearful. So I want to remind everybody that whether you believe that the Bible is completely truth or not, I don't, but I think it contains a lot of mysteries that are true if you interpret them the right way. And in the Bible, it talks about Elijah, Ezekiel, Enoch, these people getting taken up in these wheels up to heaven, right? To see what's going on down here. And in the Hopi legends, yeah, they talk about this is the fifth world. Every other one, it's fire and water, plasma and water, volcanoes and water, right? Floods and fire. And the elect, the pure of heart of the Hopi get led underground. They get led by what amounts to sentient plasma, strange clouds, moving stars, and wingless craft, wingless shields, they called them, to this figure named Sotuknang. And then Sotuknang takes them underground to live with the ant people, and the ant people protect them underground.
Yeah.
And then they emerge later from underground. That's their story, right? And it's because that's exactly what happened. And if we look at this new TV show that came out based on a video game, I think called Fallout, there's entire underground civilizations that are prepared for what they call atomic war and nuclear fallout, but that's a veil for what's really going to happen, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think you're right.
It's all real. It's all so real. It's all so real. It's nuts.
Do you remember Planet X, when they were talking about Planet X was inbound?
Nibiru stuff, yeah.
Yeah. So the black hole sun is supposed to look like, if you read Olaf's story of the Smoky God.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So it's like this big reddish ball with like this foggy smoke around it. They call it they always called Nibiru, Planet X, the winged god, the winged planet or something, because it had this dust cloud around it. And I find it interesting that the black hole sun is basically the same description as Nibiru. They even would say that Nibiru was coming in from under our ecliptic, that we wouldn't see it like coming inbound in our skies. It would just show up there one day in the skies, right? This second sun, if you will. And I think what they were doing was like predictive programming people in case we see a second sun, like Polaris moves down or the black hole sun comes up to a certain point. And then we would see this electromagnetic fog type thing around this ball in the sky.
It's going to happen. Like, this is weird, a little nerdy aside, but I think, they tell the truth in movies and pop culture. I play this game called Magic the Gathering. It's like a card game. It was like the OG version of Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon. There's a card that was from the set Amonkhet, and Amonkhet was set in Egypt. And it was the hour of devastation, right? Something bad happened. And one of the cards was called Approach of the Second Sun. And if you played that card twice in the same game, you won. The game was automatically over. You didn't even have to reduce the opponent's life to zero or anything like that. So I just, they talk about in the Aztecs, they talk about in the Chinese myths about where the sun split into 10 suns and this archer had to shoot 9 of them down, right? It's like, it's crazy. But yeah, some crazy, crazy, crazy stuff is going to happen in our skies. And is the source of it all the black hole sun? Remember those things when you were a kid? There'd be like a little dome you could buy, and it projected some light through the dome, and there were star holes cut in the dome, and it spun, and it made it look like there were spinning stars on your ceiling. Sometimes I wonder if that's even kind of part of what's going on here.
Yeah, I mean,
the projections, like manifestations of the light it's all from the one source below, maybe.
Yeah. I was looking at electrical components and stuff when I'm studying all this stuff, and I'd come across this one day, and I'm like, oh, I know exactly what that is. Yeah. And I've seen it in the hieroglyphs in Egypt.
Wow, radical.
Yeah, it's identical. I mean, identical. Totally.
And what is that? A sodium vapor or a plasma? What kind of light bulb is that?
Yeah, I'm not sure what kind of light bulb this is. I don't remember exactly, some kind of filament here. But as you can see, it's part of it. It's an electrical component. It's part of the makeup.
Oh boy. Yeah, my buddy Mem's gonna have a fun one with this, because he knows about my there's so many depictions of this leg of a god, right? In the Sumerian stuff, even in Jesus, right? He's depicted as like dressed in blue, and he's got like one leg is prominent, and there's these really weird designs just like that, like these helical, weird, like magneto-hydrodynamic patterns on his garment. And same thing we find all over the Sumerian, like Anunnaki stuff, like these one leg of the god is showing, and it's got these really weird patterns like that on it. And there's a paper that Anthony Peratt put out that shows when there are 6 filaments in this plasma discharge, they spiral in this helical pattern that looks like DNA, and it looks exactly like that, but just coming straight down, and you see it. You don't always see it's 3D, so you don't always see it the same way, but it's exactly what it is. So that's totally cool. Yeah, it reminds me of the DNA too, right? And even the tail end of the Jesus fish.
Yeah. Yep.
That what is that? The alpha, right? The alpha symbol laid on its side too. The Greek alpha symbol laid on its side is the same thing as the Jesus fish. And if you flip it upside down, it's the same thing as the Aleph, the bull from the Hebrew stuff. It depends on if you're looking at it upside down, sideways, or straight up. So the Aleph, the alpha, the Jesus fish, it's all the same thing. That's crazy. The end of that little spiral.
Yeah.
Neato.
Absolutely. Even the electrical components and stuff, the symbols for them and everything are very interesting. The way the buildings are constructed, if they're components on the grid system. See a lot of buildings with bricked up windows and stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like, since I've been studying electronics and stuff, that these are places where you could put add-ons on and logic gates. So imagine you bought a car and your dashboard, it has a stereo in it, but then it has this plastic part where it looks like something can go there, but there's nothing there. It's just like a pop out. Like, say, if you wanted to add in something else to your stereo, you could pop out this thing in your dash and add it in there, right? And then so that's what I feel like these bricked up windows and stuff are. They're not actually windows. It's like a logic gate where you're closing off the current in the flow of the current in that area to only go to certain places.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense, because if you're gonna try to really decode and prove that the buildings were a connected grid and function like a computer and electricity and stuff, when you bring up actual points like that with logic gates, it only strengthens your case, right? And when a lot of the melt or the destruction, it seems like the most preserved parts are the arches that aren't bricked up, because there's that space where the current doesn't flow through. It's air, right? So the edges of it get preserved more. Yeah. But yeah, this is cool. You've done a lot of great work with all this.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. I did cover a lot of stuff about the seafloor as well on my shows. The stuff that they show us for LiDAR for the seafloor just looks like city streets and stuff.
Oh yeah, there's all kinds of examples of bricks and brick roads and remnants of bricks on the seafloor. The thing is okay, when this event goes off, it talks about this in the Hindu stuff, right? But it will boil the oceans. Mm-hmm. It's going to be so hot that it will evaporate most of the oceans, and it will ionize the salt in the oceans. And what's going to happen is we're going to have this thing called a sodium vapor canopy in our sky. It's going to be like a purple sky. And there's going to be salt, basically ionized salt water hanging in the sky. And that was the result of the oceans evaporating. Mm-hmm. Because these people, right, we're not on a spinning water ball. So it's not like areas can flood and certain areas can't flood. We're in like a little, like the highest parts of the land that are sticking up are just everything's connected underneath. It's flooded right now. We're living in water world, and the highest parts, it's all connected. The highest parts are just the parts that aren't flooded, the highest elevation in our little bowl or whatever we're in, right? And they didn't scuba dive to go build that stuff on the seafloor, right? They didn't go scuba diving to build that. So the only answer is that once this entire realm, because if the ocean floor has brick on it, at one point it didn't have water on it. So the ocean floor isn't the ocean floor at all. There's an ocean underneath the ocean. There is water at the bottom of the ocean, as the talking heads would say. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yep. Here's an example of some pictures we showed with the LiDAR, how it renders on land and how this LiDAR is rendering under the ocean.
Melted cities on the seafloor too. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
It didn't sink because they'd all be broken apart. Nothing sunk. It just got flooded. It's like, once you see it, all the narratives and the naysayers become comical. It's just.
Yeah, absolutely. So this would be like I think this is in the Atlantic Ocean. And we had showed how the LiDAR like renders on land, the buildings and everything. And then when we see what's happening underwater, we start to notice that these look exactly like set up like city streets.
Yeah, buddy.
with buildings. Buildings render like mountains render. They come up as points on the lidar.
Yeah, and what are volcanoes too? What are volcanoes? If the pyramids were technology, right? What happens when they malfunction? They blow their top, and all these, and it's still reacting to this day. We call them volcanoes, but maybe they're just malfunctioning pyramids, still reacting.
Yeah. Well, I've covered volcanoes extensively, and I'm pretty sure that there was some type of tower or some type of tech, something along the lines of the Tower of Babel, where there's buildings all through it and everything. I covered Vesuvius, and I discovered in some of their mineral layers that I was examining through pictures, I wasn't there in person, but what looks to be like a statue head embedded in the wall. Now, buildings have statues, volcanoes don't have statues.
Right.
So, it's very interesting. There's also a concoction that they've had since the 1700s, or excuse me, the 1800s, where they can mimic, or they can create their own volcano, which it's this very simple concoction. It's metal filings, sulfur, and water, and they mix it together and put it under the ground, maybe a couple of feet. And in 8 to 12 hours, you're going to have earthquakes and a volcano. So, they can make these things that are melted down, that are probably were once some type of towers, look like this thing that they call a volcano now, which of course helps their globe model, because what feeds a volcano? The molten core, right, of our globe. The globe's out the window. So the molten core is out the window. Right. Therefore, volcanoes are out the freaking window.
Yeah. Well, and if the core is hot as they say it was, the metals that they claim it to be made out of aren't magnetized at that. So it's their whole theory. The whole thing is so dumb to anybody who actually looks at it. It's just so dumb. When I woke up to the Earth not being a spinning water ball, I just like, there's just it's the silliest thing ever when you think back on it. But
yeah, well, look at all the narratives that are tied to the globe model. You know what I mean?
Gravity's the big one.
All those narratives.
They need it for gravity. That's the big one. And when people realize that gravity is not real, and it's all fluid dynamics, relative density, and electromagnetism, then the secret's out about electromagnetism, and then the secret's out about magnetism, and then the secret's out about plasma. And they can't have that.
Yeah, exactly. I thought this was interesting here. It says this pre-cataclysmic ruins are so old, erosion will inevitably claim them, starting with their artistry, rendering them indistinguishable from geological formations. Well, geological formations don't exist. It's just everything was melted and muffed up, and now we call them geological formations. But yeah, so
I'm going to agree with you on that, but I'm going to raise one point. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not even, completely married to this idea, but I think it's important for people to think about, at least, right? When you look at stuff like this, 100%, it was architecture, and it's muffed, it's plasma fried, it's chemical bonds may have even been altered by the electricity and the plasma and the heat, right? Mm-hmm. However, if we look at, let's say, instead of one structure, an entire mountain range, like let's look at let's say the Grand Canyon and the surrounding mountain range from Google Earth, the pattern looks less like city street remnants and more like Lichtenberg electrical discharge. Mm-hmm. So what that is when a big jolt of electricity hits anything, you can send it through a piece of wood. I've got a box in my room where it's Lichtenberg pattern. I might even go grab it real quick because it's a great example. But, bird's eye view on Google Maps, or just a piece of wood with electricity run through it, it creates these patterns called Lichtenberg patterns. They're unmistakable. Mm-hmm. And so could the entire Grand Canyon area have been built out brick formations, and that's why it's red rock now? Yes, mm-hmm. I'm not even disagreeing with everything originally being built out. There really no space on this giant motherboard, maybe even, I don't know, right? But the result of this tech malfunction or plasma event that happened with it, whether it was natural, induced, accidental, cyclical, whatever, the event that did this it would have been so intense. Like, think about lightning hitting a beach. It will pull up the sand and create a fulgurite. It'll turn the sand to glass, and it'll be like a little thing that you see in the Tim Burton movies, Beetlejuice and stuff, like a little, but that plasma is scalable. So if it can do that from a lightning strike, let's just throw out a number and say that this event could create things that are 100,000 times as strong as lightning. What would a blast of that lightning, that 100,000 times the power of lightning, because lightning is plasma, do to the earth if it hit it, right? So I think that mountain ranges are basically a combination of what you would call like a fulgurite, which is the sand being pulled up, because as the discharge comes down, it's going to pull the earth up to meet it, and then it's going to alter the chemical bonds of those things, and it's going to leave it looking like mountain ranges. It's going to form channels, and new mountains and new rivers be formed by this event, just like it says in the Bible. And then later, when the water comes around, which may have been just broken plumbing from these ancient civilizations that are coming from these, plasma fried structures, it followed the path of least resistance. The water didn't create those channels. It flowed through them after the electric discharge created them. So I want at least people to think about that concept as a possibility, because it's a very good argument when people come at you and say, not all mountains are melted buildings. It's like, well, sometimes you just do stuff for a title to get people interested. And sometimes it's just a convenient thing to say it, but it's a good ammo to have in your pocket, right? Because when you start breaking out words like Lichtenberg patterns and cataclysmic electrical discharge, and you can refer them to people like Andrew Hall, who've put out scientific papers on this.
Uh-oh. I think I just got bumped off. Oh boy, my computer's not working. Uh-oh. Can you guys still hear me? I think I'm having technical difficulties. Hold on. I don't know what just happened. Can you guys still hear me? Oh boy. I'm gonna have to close this out. I'm stuck. I can't do anything. I have to do a restart. Curtis. Leave. All right, I'm back, and you're back. Yes. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. Yep.
I don't know what happened.
There is an echo. You got another device open that may be picking up the audio?
Yeah. Okay, close. All right. I think we're going to be okay.
Yeah, we're good. We're good. And there's still 40 people here, but there's an echo.
Yeah, I'm trying to get rid of that here. Let me see here. Let me go like this. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know what's going on. We're getting too deep into it, probably.
We're fine. But this is just a slight delay on an echo, but I can work with it.
Okay, I'm going to close out some of these tabs that I have open here. Maybe that will help. Okay, we should be good here. Okay. All right. So, yeah, gosh, this is so intriguing. Uh-oh. Hopefully he comes back. All right. Maybe because of the echo, he had to dip out. He's going to try to come back in here. Let me see if I can get this to work. All right. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. My computer is just acting crazy all of a sudden. Oh, there he comes. There you go. Is that better?
I think the echo was on my end. I tried to rejoin on a different tab, and it was picking. That was my fault. So
Okay. All right.
we're
Good.
good
Good. All right. So I did have another thing I wanted to show you here. Let me find it real quick. What was it here? Oh, Pompeii. That's right. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So let me bring back over here to StreamYard and go into another screen share. Okay, so when I was doing my research on Vesuvius, I had gone through all kinds of websites, 5 hours of searching for stuff from Vesuvius. I had to go to the Italian sites and find like old drawings and depictions of Vesuvius and stuff. And it would seem back then, everybody wanted to climb up Vesuvius to see what was going on in there. You know, this is supposed to be an active volcano, right? Yet they're like pushing and pulling people up here to go see what's going on. I mean, this woman right here is pregnant, for Christ's sake. You see? She's pregnant.
Yeah.
What is so amazing up there that they have to push and pull a pregnant woman up there to see what's going on?
Ooh. Do you have ideas?
Yeah, I think that they were seeing stuff inside the volcano that they, you know, that we call a volcano now, things that still remained in there after the event took place. And I
Looting
think
it?
that, huh?
Looting it, so to speak?
Well, looting it or looking at it at least.
Yeah, okay.
I think once World War I and World War II started, they started. Obviously, they know what type of technology is going to get doled out to the public and what they're going to have to get rid of. And I think there were still things inside Vesuvius to be seen.
Yeah. Have
And
you ever seen the book Mundus Subterranei by Athenius Kirchner?
no, I have
He
not.
was a Jesuit polymath scholar from like the 1600s, and he has this book called Mundus Subterranei. And basically, he's labels volcanoes as ignis mundi sub machina or something. Fiery underground machine is what it means.
Nice.
And there's all kinds of. She's showing technology inside of mountains and inside of volcanoes. So you should
I have
really
to see
check out
that.
Mundus
Sure.
Subterranei. You would go ham on that. It's illustrated. It's by Athenius Kirchner, and yeah, and I think another thing to think about is if they were always active volcanoes, why would people build? There's all kinds of settlements right on the base of volcanoes and stuff. So it's potential that before they malfunctioned, whatever mechanism they were ionizing the air, and it was healthier people breathing in ionized air near these quote unquote volcanoes that are actually defunct technology, right?
Yes, absolutely. I agree with that. Definitely. So if I type in, let me see, go to a Google search. Let's see. All right, let's go to Google. You have to do it on Google, okay? You type in
Oh, you should, yeah, when you're done with this, you should look up Mundus Subterranei. It'll blow your mind. Vesuvius.
All right, so we're looking at Vesuvius mineral layers, and you want to go to pictures, images, and it's usually the first or second picture that comes up. Today, it looks like it's the first picture that comes up. Let me make this big here. Let me go like this. It's not going to be a good picture of it. All right, hold on. Let me see if I can make it bigger if I do. All right, let me expand this. Okay, so now they slapped alum all over this thing. When I first covered Vesuvius, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, they didn't have alum all over it. Once I started covering it and pointing out what I was pointing out, they practically slapped alum right over what I had saw. So this is the first picture that comes up for mineral layers for Vesuvius, okay? And I was looking at this thing, you know, going over every detail of it, seeing if I could see anything in here with a fine-tooth comb. And I had found something. And what I found was, looks like a statue head right here.
Oh, yeah. Gold or something? Yeah, is that on a profile? He's got a big nose?
Profile, yes. You can see the nose, the lips, the chin, and what looks like maybe a neck. Actually, this whole area is anomalous compared to the rest of the area here. It looks like there may have actually been a whole scene of statue doing something here in a scene. It's very smooth. You can see it looks like it had a headdress on, maybe, or some type of headdress. We compared it to other
It's very
statues.
discolored in that area, almost like gold. Like,
Yes, I see gold as well, right? I'm not saying it's gold, but it does look gold, okay? This looks like a bent over knee right here going this way. It's very smooth and anomalous. This looks like over here by the A, looks like the rump end of maybe a bull or something. I can't really tell, but it definitely looks like some type of a scene taking place
oh, it
here.
could be a guy riding a horse.
And if you look closely, this statue head, you can see that it's embedded in here. There's a clear outline of it being, it's a separate from this stuff. You know what I mean?
Like
You
something
can see
melted around it.
yeah.
Yes, I mean the thing that is, and I don't deny what you have here, but it's when you're really trying to prove something with somebody, this would be something that could easily get attacked as pareidolia by people.
Oh, I know. I've heard it all. But I've
And
also
I'm not saying it is. I'm not saying
I
it
know.
is.
I know. I'm not there to
fully in
actually dig
agreement
this
that,
thing out.
yeah.
However, it is very anomalous to
Yeah.
this section here. And I have compared it to other statue heads and other things. Vesuvius has brick layers in it. All these layers that you're seeing here are brick layers for sure.
Yeah.
And if it was a building and they love their statues, I'm betting that is a statue.
Oh, I'm not denying it. I'm not denying it at all.
But I have heard the whole pareidolia thing, and
I'm not accusing you of that. I'm just suggesting that sometimes it's, I don't know, not necessarily this stream. This is just a fun live stream, right? I'm talking about
I get it. No, the attacks are real, though.
You. That's an easy one to be.
I know. I've been down this road for a while.
You know.
I know all about the attacks, and that's okay. I mean, whatever. I just show people what I got and tell me if you see what I see or you see something else. You know, it could go either way.
Yeah, but they're definitely technology and construction and ruined construction, and definitely 100%.
Absolutely.
And one thing that's even just like, even some, like, it's so simple to understand one form of technology they may have been using, right? Because if there's any quartz anywhere near there, there's more rocks than just quartz and more minerals than just quartz that do this, but they have a quality called piezoelectric, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when there's weight or stress on top of a piezoelectric mineral, it can fracture, create a spark, and charge the gas around it and create little plasma balls. They call them earthquake lights or volcano lights. So they could have been, even as simple as piezoelectric electricity is something they could have been generating with these various layers below and columns below the pyramids and such. So
right. Okay, well, let me come back over here real quick. There we go. I come off the screen share. Remove that. There we go. Okay, so we're going to take a quick break. We're at the 1 hour and 18-minute mark, and we're going to take a quick break. I'm going to play a song, and then we'll come back.
Cool.
Does that sound good? Okay. All right, let me see what I got here. Guys, we will be back in 3 minutes.
Tell me it was all in my head.
All right, you red brick souls out there. I ain't got nobody in the stream. I was trying to divert some souls over to Jen's channel to check out this dude here. So anyway, we making some noise here tonight. A bunch of melt heads. So we just thought they're on break right now. So I just thought I would say hello real quick. And like, share, and subscribe. Support these melt heads out here, folks. And that's it, man. We're going to wait for the break to get over and resume. I'm not going to play that song that she's playing there just because every time music's done, they give me copyright strikes. I'm not monetized or nothing, but just, I don't even like to hear nothing from YouTube, you know? So, we're doing good here. We only had 64 drop frames. We have a lot of stuff going. Streaming good. Weather's bad all across the United States, so we're kicking butt. So, Meltology. We're live with Jen. There's a link in the description box, and there's a link in the chat. And show up at Jen's channel and tell her Red Bricks Bob, aka Chief, sent you, and say hello. And check out Meltology, folks. So, get back with the program. Well, the break ain't over. The break ain't over. So, I see that Mr. Beast fan, he changed his handle to Robert, so he was disguised there for a while. I seen him in a couple of streams, but I didn't see Mr. Beast fan, and I didn't correlate that that was Mr. Beast fan. So I'm glad I found that out tonight, you know? So Shawnee B kicked butt today. Him and Chrissy B, they was melting it in Massachusetts, showing us some good stuff. A lot of good melt heads in the chat tonight. Electric Gnosis is talking. He has some good insights there. Some things I don't agree with. The many resets. There was many resets, but there was one great melt, I believe. So they're back on live. So let's get the show rolling again with Jen and what's his name? Melt Gnosis.
Thank you, Jen.
I want you to tell us more about your channel and the different things you're covering over there. You said that you were talking about, you have a show coming up on the short season of Satan.
Yeah, my take on it. Okay, so let me start by saying this. I don't want to cause any division whatsoever. I'm not here to, I don't know, be rude about what I think about anything. I don't, it's really hard if you have a long-held view about anything to be considered, even consider new information, right? So if I don't want anybody to think I'm attacking their religion or anything, right? I'm just telling you how the puzzle comes together for me. And how that comes together for me is, it seems like that's just like a simplified version of something bigger, right? Because if we really look at it, we know that religion that pushes that idea or provides that idea, or that it's been extrapolated and added to later, has been obfuscated, has been infiltrated, right? The Vatican, the Roman Catholics, they've really messed that up. We all know there's bad translations everywhere. We know that a lot of the material is borrowed from older stuff. And, it's at a certain point, at the very least, some of it has been perverted and weaponized against us. And some people just still want to hold on to a part of that, right? And I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings or cause anybody to lose their religion, so to speak, right? Because if that helps you become a better person, then great, right? But with love in my heart, I'll say this is my take on the whole situation, right? Is that there are things called the golden ages or the ages in the Hindu stuff, right? Like the Yuga cycle. And there's a bunch of debate on how long each cycle was and all that stuff. But basically, it's this descent from a golden age, just like they talk about in the Greek stuff, where there's no seasons, no suffering. Probably the air is more ionized and higher oxygen percentage. So there's giants, and it's really just an abundant garden because horticulture is a thing, right? People use copper to grow bigger vegetables. So if that's happening, that could be naturally induced, right? So everything could have been just giant and bountiful. This place could be like a garden, a literal golden age. And as humanity falls from that perfect state that was given to us through being corrupt, right, and doing things that we shouldn't be doing that go against, nature and love, and just, you could call it satanic, but I would call it just an inversion or perversion of nature. It goes against what the law is written on our heart that we all don't need any books for,
Right. The
right?
natural order of things.
Right. And so as we fall from that, the ages progress, and somehow they may even be governed by the stars. I don't think astrology is, fake. I think that there is some energy involved with the cycles, and maybe no man knows the hour because it's kind of like a sentient feedback loop, and I can get into more of that. But basically, whether you're talking about Persian cycles, Greek cycles, Hindu cycles, and I'm sure there's more, but those are just three that most people would think they're not even connected, and they all have different names. That they're saying the same thing as 1,000 years of this and 1,000 years of that, but in a way that seems to align with more reality, more like I think it's more of a gradual shift than it's like, and there's more nuance and gray to it than just millennial reign, season Satan. That's it. You get Jesus for 1,000 years, and then whoop, one day the devil takes over, and now it's 1,000 years of bad news, right? I just don't. That doesn't resonate with me based on how I observe nature. It doesn't resonate with me on when I compare it to other mythologies or religions or oral traditions or whatever you would want to call those things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, in my opinion, the season of Satan is a attractive term to put on a video. It's an attractive term to latch on to and use as a reason of why we see what's going on in the world right now. But I do, and no disrespect to the people who think that it is, right? But just my opinion, and I'm not satanic or anything or a devil worshiper, right? I just think that it's a simplification of the larger thing that I'm speaking of, and I think that that's tied to the precession of the equinox, right? It's the same thing as the Yuga cycle, in my opinion. So for people who aren't aware of that, the sun rises every day, and no matter where you observe it from, it rises in front of a specific constellation as the backdrop behind the sun rising. So some people say we're in Pisces right now, and some people say it's already in Aquarius, right? And I don't know. There's debate on it, so pick and choose which one. I don't care. But it changes about every 2,160 years. So there's 12 constellations. 12 times 2,160 is 25,920. So that's about a 26,000 year cycle, and that's what I think is going on here. At least that's one of the cycles. The Mayans had like wheels within wheels and gears turning other gears, and who knows? But that's at least one of the cycles. And if you look into what Carl Jung was saying, he was saying that, and no offense, this might not be true, but I'm just telling you what Carl Jung thought, that Revelation was taken from the Greek Sibylline stuff. It was just refiltered older stuff, and it was from the Sibylline oracles. And just like Mother Shipton and all this stuff, that Hopi prophecies, they all say the same thing. When everything's backwards, when men are like women, when there's, all this stuff, it's the same thing, right? When we get inverted or fall far away from that natural order or what's written.
And we've fallen so far away from it that I think the pendulum has to swing back.
It has to. Yeah, it's like a once the tail scale sip too far, it flips, right? So I think it's a resonant feedback system. And whether it's between the Kordaluski clouds, the dusty sentient plasma clouds, and the black hole sun, I think that's why they harvest our loosh, so to speak. They're not consuming it. They're encouraging a negative resonant feedback to bring this thing on because they want to hide out underground while we get mutated with the synchrotron radiation and almost wiped out. And then they come up about 1,000 years later after the synchrotron radiation dies down, and they rule over the X-Men or the Muppet Babies. And we're all like mutated, hybrid, and pig human type things that there's a faceless nanny watching over in the nursery now, the hidden hand, just like the Muppet Babies, right? So I think it's I think we are in the Kali Yuga portion right now, and Kali is the destroyer, right? The squatter with multiple arms and the skulls all over, and she's the one who purifies, and just like Jesus comes with his in the sky, everybody will see him in the clouds, and his tongue will be like fire. It's not satanic at all. They want you to think it is, but when they do this, that's the bowl of heaven. When they do this, that's the one eye in the sky. When they stick their tongue out, that's the squatter man image can look like the squatter man or like a face with its tongue out, right? And all the Hindu guys, and Jim Carrey with his all mocking tongue on the, right? It's just, that's what it is, right? It's this event that, his tongue will burn like fire, right? And it's also a calamity, Kali Ma, right? Calamity, right? Climate change, calamity, Kali Ma, climate change. Those are not coincidences. I'm not just really creative, right? That those are etymologically linked, whether the mainstream would admit it or not.
Right.
That
just like the symbols for Egypt, they have us thinking they're for spirituality and this and that. Actually, it's all electrical.
Kali Yuga, Jesus, God, whatever, holy hellfire, plasma fire is going to come for this realm again. And the kings and the queens will hide in the dens of the earth and the mountain to shield themselves from the wrath of the Lord. And the mountains will melt like wax. I guarantee it. And it's happened. The reason I know it's happened multiple times is because if anybody's looked into this plasma stuff seriously, then they've read or watched videos about the OG man, right? Anthony Peratt, Dr. Anthony Peratt, right? The plasma physicist. And once he figured out what was going on, the petroglyphs, the plasma discharge, saw it in the sky, him and a buddy his named John McGovern embarked on a 25-year quest together. And part of that 25-year quest was they went to everywhere they could that had petroglyphs and teamed up with all the local researchers. And they created a supercomputer database and mapped the petroglyphs and what they look like by latitude. And what most people think about is latitude will determine your perspective. Okay. Mm-hmm. So if I'm in a room and you're in a room too, but we're on opposite sides and there's a 6 on the ceiling, you're going to see a 9 and I'm going to see a 6. So that's why I turn a lot of my images, the religious iconography, the petroglyphs, I turn them all upside down because it's like, ooh, which side of the room were they on?
Right.
Interesting. And so they ran all those through a supercomputer, and it basically was like early stage AI, right? And there's like 100 countries, probably over 1 million petroglyphs, and the supercomputer put them in like 80 groups, and each grouping is like, oh, this is the category that matches this stage of the plasma discharge. And that's where people started putting together stuff like the pagodas with the plasma column, right? That's all comes from Anthony Peratt originally, sparked the knowledge that led to all that, right? And his buddy, his name was John McGovern, okay? John McGovern, somehow, somebody who saw my videos put me in touch with John McGovern. I was skeptical at first, but I was talking to John McGovern. He was commenting on my videos, emailing me, and I could probably still talk to him if I wanted to, but he sent me just undeniable proof of magnetic incursions and reversals in tree ring data, how many years ago it had to have happened, as well as one other person named Bill Petrie, who's done a lot of great work on this. He saw my work too. He sent me 3 of his books that he wrote for free, right? And I made a video on that to thank him for that. But what's going on here is there's places where there are petroglyphs, a layer of patina that can only slowly accumulate over time, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, I know there's geological processes that happen like that. I'm not saying that, you know what I mean? I'm on your page. I'm not saying the geological process take millions of years, but the specific thing called patina, I think does, right? And there's petroglyphs separated by layers of patina to prove that they were drawn on the same rocks however many thousands of years apart. You'd have to look at the tree ring data and the magnetic data.
That's really interesting.
First happened. But there's proof that magnetic reversals happen in tree rings, and there's proof of petroglyphs being on the same site but separated by something that, I mean, in my opinion, based on my research, had to be they weren't drawn at the same time, so they had to see it twice, right?
Right. So but the thing that always bothered me about petroglyphs, it's just something that's bothered me. I don't know what to do with it, but this is what it is they all look the same.
Well, that's why, because there's only so many categories of them because they're all documenting plasma discharge formation. So what Anthony Peratt was doing, let me say it one more time, right, is so he would take gas, any kind of gas can be used. We'll just use neon because that's an easy one for people to imagine. Everybody knows what a neon sign is, right? So imagine instead of that neon being confined to a glass tube, right? And that's the way the gas is contained and you get the image, because it's glowing inside a glass tube and it's contained.
Right.
That plasma or that neon would be contained by a magnetic field. Right. And as it went through these discharge processes, shock waves, columns, Birkeland currents, dikatron instabilities, it just formed the same shapes over and over and over and over and over and over and over. It's like a predictable pattern of plasma discharge evolution, the
Mm,
different stages, right? And that's what Anthony Pratt figured out, was that every single petroglyph, every single place, no matter what, is just showing a different stage or perspective or viewpoint or anthropomorphized trope on what they saw in the sky, right? And
right.
Paul Simon said it the best, right, in his song "The Sounds of Silence." And the people bowed and prayed to the neon god they made.
Mm,
People made idols. Well, the Greek word eidolon is related to light. So people made idols out of the light beings. And they never really worshipped them like satanic people that
it's like a cargo
we have
cult.
to go wipe out. It was a remembrance of it. And what else it is like just the same thing as prayer or a rosary, right? If you have something to focus your intention and attention on, it becomes more coherent. And we have
Right.
electromagnetic charges in our brain and in our heart. So if you can focus that and it become coherent, whether you need a rosary or a cross or a idol, right? So
Very
yeah.
interesting. Yeah, I have noticed that the petroglyphs, no matter where they're at, it doesn't matter. They all have a similar theme to them. They all look very similar in nature, almost like the same people did it. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, I don't think the same people did it, but I think that the realm was once connected, and so sure they were the same people in some kind of regard. But if everybody saw the same thing in the sky, everybody pretty much draw the
Yeah.
same thing on the
A lot
rock.
of them draw the spiral. You see the
Yeah, yeah.
spiral a lot.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That's the Birkeland current coming down. Yep.
Right.
But
Okay.
that
'Cause
wasn't
that's definitely prevalent in all of them.
because you're thinking if you're looking directly up at a spiral coming down, it's going to look like a bullseye because of perspective.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. I can see that.
So it's all depending on their perspective. The only reason for some of the difference, and some of them also get anthropomorphized. They get turned into animals or, whatever, right? But what that is it's a vortex. The fundamental nature of this realm and the way that energy operates is like a Schauberger vortex or a
Right.
who else? Victor Schauberger did work on that. Walter Russell did great work on that. It's basically the Fibonacci spiral, an infinite spiral based on like the
Like
Fibonacci
Mandelbrot.
sequence.
Yeah. And
You
like
call it
the
a vortex. You can call it the shape that creates the cone that is the inverse of the torus. There's the torus and cone. That's it. And the cone part
Right.
is the vortex.
Right. Yep. This
Yeah.
is so fascinating.
Yeah. This is a great chat. I think we're going to be connecting a lot of dots for people. You've shown me some things that are going to help me understand and be able to explain things even better and have more resources of the knowledge. This is going to be great. I hope
Yeah, definitely. I love collaborating and stuff. I'm going to do one more screen share here and just show you. Hold on a second here. Screen share. Where is it? There it is. Hopefully my computer doesn't act wonky or anything here. I don't know what happened earlier. Can you see this okay?
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's just, if that would be in the southwest of the United States and just a little bit more ruined, they would call it a natural structure and everybody would believe them. Just like there's pyramids in Egypt, there were pyramids all over America, way more probably even than in Egypt.
Oh, yeah.
Mounds now in a lot of cases, right?
Yeah, they're everywhere. This enormous structure rising out of the desert sands near the Euphrates resembles.
Yeah, they tell you.
Well,
why do you think it resembles one of those so much?
Yeah, exactly.
Magical wind and selective rain erosion. Woo-hoo.
And there's your sedimentary layers, but yet they admit that they're mud bricks.
Always with the sedimentary layers, the brick layer and the mortar layer.
Yeah, right. So yeah, they even admit here that it resembles a sandstone butte, which I love showing that because
what's brick made out of? Silica. What's silica? Sand, right?
Yeah, exactly. What's terracotta but cooked earth?
Right. Yep. It's all different stages of either brick or in some cases with lower layers. There's also a civilization that was using geopolymer, and the geopolymer didn't melt like the brick did.
Yeah, I've seen signs of that as well, and they've also come in after and tried to cover a lot of this stuff up with that gunite stuff.
Yeah. Well, I Am Kairos was doing some great work on the hillside in California, and then they come over and put geopolymer over it. Yeah. Yep. Just like you were talking about Half Moon Bay, as soon as people started showing that, they went and covered it up, right? As soon as something gets big in this community, they'll erase it on Google Maps. They'll go and mess with it and cover it up in real life. I've seen it in real time over the years, just like you have.
Yes.
Mind blowing. And people still deny it. It's like, wow, I mean, you got to be either an NPC, a zombie, or a paid agent at this point to deny it, right?
Yeah, I'm leaning towards a little bit of everything on some of those. This will be what our realm looks like, a working system, and
Ooh, I
so
like it.
anyway, you have the layers of the dome here, which the stars are
Father, a
within
friend
the
of mine
dome
just
itself.
got
You know,
shot
they
in
Yeah,
the
have
and so
leg
are
with
the heavenly
brimstone
orbs. Yeah,
copper.
within
right
each
the
layer.
seven
Those are the
layers of the
seals
dome,
that
and
open, right?
I feel like there's water between these
But
layers
his
in each
leg
layer of the
You
dome.
amputated
think?
from the knee down.
Well, the stars have that type of electromagnetic, like watery look to them.
What if? What if? I know where you're going, and I've heard several people say this, and I used to like agree in some point. Like, why did they say? Why is it water? Why is it? But check this out, right? This is an important distinction that I didn't even realize until I like resolved myself to learn more about plasma, right? But
Didn't go to the hospital for a
gas
month.
and water are both fluids. So not all fluids are liquid, right? There's a difference between liquid and fluid, and some semi solid material can be fluid to some degree, but not liquid, right? So gas is fluid. So what if it's plasma or gas above, which would be the fluids above rather than the waters above? And this is one of those instances where we've got a bad translation due to misunderstanding or intentional misdirection. So I think you could be right, could be waters, but I just want to throw it out there for other people to consider on their put a little pin in it. It might be fluids above, which could be gas or plasma as well, and those could be the seals that get opened during Revelation.
Absolutely, yes. And
So they ain't
so
gonna do
beneath
that
our
no more.
plane, they're showing what looks like a Tesla coil. Also, I've covered the 9 circles of hell, which is very, very interesting. That whole thing with
They
the 9
even
circles
made
of
a
hell.
tunnel that
But
said
yeah,
down
this
hell
is
looked like stand on.
basically we're in a flat plane that has an electromagnetic torus field around it, which
You
creates
got
that
it.
donut effect, that figure 8, that infinity sign.
You got it.
Yep. And it's all about
Wow.
radio waves, transmission, electromagnetic frequencies. If you know
Well,
the codes, you can
you know
tune in.
they used to use that to heal us, the frequencies in the churches. I know you know that, right? But now
Yeah.
it's been weaponized against us. And a lot of people that think they have a like a V word, they've actually got radiation poisoning because they're messing with the radio frequency fields and the electromagnetic field so much. It's creating this thing. Somebody wrote a book on it called The Invisible Rainbow, and basically showing that this things that they call the flu, it's the same symptoms that are in radiation poisoning. And they're
Wow.
basically creating a dirty electromagnetic field. And some of us are like iocane powder in The Princess Bride. We grow a tolerance to it because it'll only kill off the weakest cells, and we can just like
Okay.
eventually will mutate and get resistant to it and build up a tolerance. But with people who aren't in good health, right, they've already got a detox load to deal with, right?
Yes.
And you add to that with radiation from the dirty EMF field, and yeah, it's pretty bad. So I think that a lot of people should read that book if they haven't, or at least watch my video on it. It's about the invisible rainbow, about electromagnetic frequencies and dirty RF fields causing radiation poisoning, basically, and it getting mistaken for pandemics and stuff.
Yeah, that's why it's really important to eat healthy, because if you get something like that and you have a lot of detoxing to do with your system because you've been eating crappy food, maybe a lot of like fatty stuff, cheeses.
Stuff.
Yeah, it'll be harder for you to get over that stuff because you have to detox it all out. And
yeah, because normally what happens is, right, after 3 months where it's kind of cold, like October, November, and December, and people are binging on junk food for Halloween and Christmas and Thanksgiving, they're not getting as much sun, they're not getting as much exercise, and everybody wonders why they got the flu in January, February, March, right? No, it's your detox from all your sugar and fat and alcohol poisoning that you didn't sweat out yet, dummy.
Yeah, and then when you start eating right and you lose all that extra weight that you had on you, people are like, "Oh, there's something wrong with you. You're
I know there's something wrong with you. You're eating too much. And you're
I'm
yourself
sorry. Does
diabetes and
56
cancer.
have to look like obesity with, the doctor's my best friend and I take 10 pills a day? Is that what 56 looks
My
like?
family always told me I ate like a bird, and now they're all obese with diabetes and weight problems, and it's like it's just bizarre how backwards everything is and how much we're brainwashed, right, and indoctrinated.
Yeah. It used to be that obese people were an oddity, and now
photos from the 70s on the beach, nobody was out of shape. It's manufactured. This is all intentional. They want us sick, dumb, divided, fighting, poisoned, so we don't come together and rise up against the 1% that's doing it this
Yeah,
all.
because they want to keep you slow, sick, and dying. When you're slow, sick, and dying and trying to survive in this world, you don't got time to look at all this stuff.
Yeah, no. Meanwhile, we're part of a financial slavery system where the 96% of the wealth funnels up to 1%, right? The same for 1% that control 96% of the media. So it's like the people that don't get it yet. It's like, I'm sorry, you don't know you're poisoned and brainwashed because you're poisoned and brainwashed. But
Yeah,
please
they
calm
don't even
down
know
and.
Oh, this is
Cymatics, dude. Cymatics is my jam.
I love cymatics, the electromagnetic frequencies, the patterns that they create, the windows in the churches, the rose windows and stuff all have the same patterns in them.
Oh, one thing, the specific pattern of the double squatter man, and it's like a squatter man, but it's like the branches are doubled.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same pattern that can be found on some turtle shells, and it's exactly 1021 hertz.
Wow.
If anybody's interested, I think there's something magical about the 1021 hertz. I'm gonna eventually make a video about it, but it's just something that I stuck a pin in and just wanted to bring up 1021 hertz.
Very interesting.
Ooh, I wonder what that one is. The 4-leaf clover one. That's a very special shape.
Yeah.
Counter rotating currents that pinch the diamond in the middle.
Absolutely. And you see a lot of crosses in the old world, like the iron cross and stuff is always everywhere.
That's I tell you exactly what that is. The X, the cross, the Templar cross, the 4-leaf clover, it's all the same thing.
Yes.
It's the 88. It's the Mayan symbol for Lamont, or Venus. It's called Lamont, Mayan symbol for Venus. And it's 4, you know what a triskelion is, right? Like 3 spirals connected, like the Irish symbol where there's 3 spirals connected.
Yeah.
Well, imagine 4 spirals connected.
Yeah.
That's what that is. It's a plasma phenomenon where in those 4 counter rotating currents, it starts out as like an X or a cross, tilted sideways would be an X, and each current is spinning a different way. So then it starts to form like the savastika, what the Germans used as their symbol, and everybody thinks it's evil, right? And then it starts the vortex, and that's it's so awesome.
Yeah, it's really interesting and how it's all connected and how they've kept us looking at all this as separate, but it's all connected.
Oh yeah. And it's all frequency. It's frequency is ultimately what it is. And that frequency can present itself as color, right? Each color has a frequency. And that's what the chakras are. They tell you each frequency has a shape, a color, and a sound. So that's like a map right there. The chakra system, that's like the old Sanskrit and Buddhist stuff. It's like, wow, man, everybody thought that's woo-woo and stuff. And it's like really the simplest and easiest and most accurate way to encode all this information in the simplest way. If we just know vibration is the key to unlocking it, right?
Right. Well, they were calling it the coronavirus, right? It's the crown virus, because they're trying to disconnect you from your connection to the higher realms, which is through your crown chakra, through your pineal gland.
Yeah. Rudolf Steiner told us that was coming like 100 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
He said through medicine, and even in the Bible, it says all nations will be deceived by pharmakia. But then people who actually are Bible thumpers will go into their pharmacy and get willingly poisoned by the pharmakia that they were warned about in the Bible. It's pretty crazy.
Yes, exactly. And it also, people come at me saying, "Oh, well, you're not a Christian because I don't know, you think mountains were buildings and God created mountains." I'm like thinking to myself, well, do you have a Christmas tree in your house right now? That's not very Christian. It says in the Bible, not
that's an adopted pagan belief, right?
You got it in there.
Meanwhile, they're eating the flesh of their Savior and drinking his blood symbolically. That sounds a lot like witchcraft. And then like Easter's based on like the second full moon after the first Thursday of March, and then but that's like astrology, but you're not supposed to.
Yeah, and that's all.
Look at the stars. Divining based off the stars is evil, right? So they tell you all not to do this stuff, and it's witchcraft, but then they do it, and they don't realize that the idols that people use are the same thing as a rosary or a cross, right? But somehow, because it's not their version, it's evil, and it's a trick by Satan. And I don't understand how somebody could let themselves get that far where they've just doing those mental gymnastics to say everything they don't agree with is a trick of Satan. That's like, wow. It's like, but anyway, if that helps them become a better person, I don't want to make fun of them. If it helps you become a better person, then more power to them. I just don't understand it.
Right.
But I love everybody.
Yeah, I love everybody too. You know, even the haters. They need more love than anybody, really.
Yeah, the haters seem to get me more exposure. They boost my algorithm. They hate me, and then
Oh
it
yeah.
allows more people. Their hate allows more people to see my true message of love, and it's a beautiful thing. They're
Yep.
they're actually enabling what they're fighting against. They're helping my
Yes.
cause, and it's like, wow,
Agree. I
irony.
100% I agree with that. Yes.
Thanks for the
Well,
elbow
thank
boost.
you. Yes, thank you.
Appreciate you.
Oh my gosh. This site here again is the Jacob's ladder. It's showing the tech on top of the pagoda as the same as the tech on top of the headgear that the I guess the elite people were using the headgear.
Yeah, why were their crowns made of gold, right? Even the
Yeah.
crown, right? And then it's like it's the same thing. I'm sure you're getting to it as the cerebral spinal fluid or the kundalini or the creastum or the some people call it the claustrum that goes up and down the 33 vertebrae and saturates the pineal gland, right?
Yes.
And in blood, there's another form of plasma.
Yes.
So it's
Plasma.
all as within, so without, as above, so below. It's so beautiful.
Yes.
And to reduce that to one thing through one lens, it's just I don't know. I don't have much more patience
I
for
think
it.
that goes for our plane wide as well, as above, so below, which means there's an anode and a cathode.
Well, the sun
And
is an anode. It's an anu.
yeah, yes, yes.
And they built cathedrals down here, cathode rails.
Mhm.
Cathedrals, cathode rails. And a lot of
Cathedrals, yes.
times they were basilicas, basalt and silica. It's
Yes.
it's all right there. It's all right there.
I have a video on my channel that explains all that.
Awesome.
Let me see if we can bring it up here. We'll
Yeah.
go over it. Let me close this out. I was looking at some stuff on
Well,
tape.
cool. I've kind of I have a few vids on my channel about like the melted buildings and the grid and stuff. But I'll just if people ask about it, I'll send them your way. So you got it all laid out already. I don't have to spend any time making the videos.
All right, so we're going to make this big here, and we're going to watch this as we're talking. It's Antiquitech buildings, and it pretty much explains the basilica and the labyrinth within it, and how the building's set up, and the dome.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, this is pretty cool.
Oh, the keyhole right there. That's the key to the whole thing, the keyhole pattern.
That's right.
It also looks like a blue ribbon.
All right, I'll pause this here.
Yeah,
so
there's a lady who went around with like audio tools and figured out the cathedrals, what natural sound they just produced from, like no sound added. They just go in there and measure subsonic sounds from and each cathedral has its own like frequency and shape. So it's like the sound of the cathedrals or something. It's a pretty cool little video.
So this says the dome of the basilica, like a building dome, produces a sonorous echo and behaves like a converging sound lens, focusing the sound in the center of the sphere constituting the dome. So this is the reasoning for the domes in all these cathedrals and how it works in tandem with
a focus point, yeah, kind of like an idol, right? Yeah, a place to focus and concentrate the energy for reflection or amplification. Either way,
increases the intensity of the sound, which will be maximum in the central zone, and thus plays a role of amplifier of the sound. The sound can be a song, like a prayer, or an organ sound.
And people can even harmonize with themselves in some of these places. They'll sing a note, it'll keep reverberating and echoing, and they'll sing a different note, and they can do a 3-part harmony with themselves in these places. They're just beautiful architecture, designed for sound, definitely.
Yes. And we see a lot of these fancy things in these cathedrals that we don't understand what they are. They just think they're aesthetics or whatever, but it's actually at the center of the dome, there is a canopy which is a 4-pillar cage. You can see the 4 pillars here, surmounted by a roof made of a fabric of silk and gold. So up under here, and between the 4 pillars, is some type of fabric that they're using. It's either gold or silk with gold woven into it.
Well, the sun, some people say the sun is basically like same thing as gold, or like can create gold, or is liquid gold or something. So
I
that's
think gold
interesting.
comes from heaven. Okay, so the column of the canopy of St. Peter's are in bronze. Bronze is a copper alloy and a very good current conductor. So
In Revelation 1:12, it says something about Jesus's feet being at his feet there's bronze or something. It's like it says, and I looked in the sky at the voice that was speaking to me, and I saw 7 golden lampstands. So like the squatter man, but with menorah head, with 7-headed serpents. There's more branches at the top, right?
all right, okay.
And then it says, and someone among them like a son of man, and it describes what he's wearing, and it's very specific about something about the feet or the bottom being bronze. Yeah, so that's cool. This is it's all micros and macros. They're showing us how our realm operates, like in these buildings.
Absolutely. It's always the micro to the macro all the way through. A lot of people have take issue with that as well, but you could scale up even a high school project on volcanoes, something that you would make for school. You could scale that up and you got a volcano.
You're
They
right.
make volcanoes. Volcanoes aren't real. They're fake. They make them to further their globe narrative. Would they go that far to pop off volcanoes? Have you ever seen a volcano pop off? Most people haven't. You only see it on TV. And what would it take? There's only a handful of volcanologists.
And what's that cult that's like Scientology? They claim that a past civilization of advanced people were wiped out by somebody dropping a bomb in a volcano. When I heard
they actually have bombardiers in I don't have the patches with me. Shapu has it, the pictures of the patches, but they have patches in the military for bombardiers that go around bombing volcanoes. That's their job.
I've heard also a narrative about they did that once, and the narrative was that they were trying to stop it from erupting. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yep, exactly.
The same thing as like during these fires that were everywhere after the World's Fair. A large portion of the city was dynamited to try to prevent the fire from spreading. And it's like, what?
Yeah, and people buy it all day long.
I don't get it, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. But it's all harkens back to electromagnetics and what happened to this realm at one point or 2 points or 3 points. And that most likely will happen again, and keeping this information hidden from us. The true nature of our reality, the true nature of the fabric of our reality, and the true nature of ourselves and the power that we really hold within us.
Oh, nonsense. Just go back to believing you're on a spinning water ball that happened by accident, and it's flying through space, and it's on a crash course with another space rock. Just stop. Just stop fooling yourself.
Yeah, we got big black holes and giant penis rockets going up there to take care of it.
It's either that or you're pretty much the center of the universe, and this place is supposed to be a garden, and that's going to come back around. And I believe that second.
Yeah,
everything that they tell us is to disconnect us from that.
People say, what do you think? You're so special? You think everything revolves around you? Yes, it does. It all revolves around us. We are the center of everything.
I'm a self-centered son of a bitch, and yes, it does all revolve around me.
Because we're that special. They don't want you to know you're special.
You're divine, infinite love and light fractal of the divine of the Most High. Yeah, I mean, even though I'm not religious and I don't believe, I'm not, I still use words like Most High and find truth in parts of the Bible and think that everybody's an infinite, divine, loving fractal of the Most High. And I know that the good things that happen in my life only happen and continue to happen when I live in line with my principles, which I call that the Most High, right? Only possible through aligning myself with the Most High, right?
Right.
But that's within us. It's within us.
The kingdom of heaven is within you. Says it in the Bible.
Right here and right now. And you better wake up and smell the garden, or you're just going to be either that or you can go to hell.
Go to hell.
You're already there. Like the movie Groundhog Day. Every day's the same until he just starts operating with love and other people in his heart, and then his life becomes magical.
Yes. Yeah, so this site is really interesting. I'll send it to you, or I'll also put it in the chat as well. I've had this for a very long time. I don't know the original creator of it. I don't have the original link to it. It was like 5 channels ago I had this up, and it was taken down with the channel. But it explains the whole electromagnetic
iron. Yeah, I think the black rock might be iron, because I was just thinking about In a video the other day I made, I started thinking about Iron Mountain, and I think Iron Mountain is a shredding company, so that somebody that gets rid of everything, and so iron is magnetic, right? So what is the black rock Rupus nigris made of, right?
Yeah, definitely. There were stories of people who tried to go up those rivers, the 4 rivers, to get to the center, and they said that once you get past a certain point in these rivers, any nails or anything you have holding your ship together will fall apart.
But yeah, I mean, I wonder what magnetic element it is. I wouldn't doubt it, but it's iron, just based on everything that I have.
Yeah,
just intuitively
probably.
Based on different things.
Yep. So this gets into the cathedrals and how the electromagnetic frequency is being used within these cathodes.
Yeah, and those are the triumphal arches, right?
Mm-hmm.
Same shape as all the arches everywhere. The triumphal arches, they call them.
Yes, the arches of triumph. Yeah,
supposedly. Oh yeah, okay. Another dirty lie. Our history is a complete lie. Even the characters. Napoleon, new pole, eon, new pole, eon, new Neopoleon. We got what? A red cape and a white horse, a pale horse. Huh. George Washington too.
Yeah, they're all made up.
Red cape. And what did he do? He cut down a cherry tree, right? Just like the Nephilim, or like Paul Bunyan did. Paul Bunyan had a red shirt and an axe, like the Axis. And he had a blue ox named Babe, like the blue baby Jesus. But I mean, that's probably all just coincidence, right? All these cheap tree choppers that have red, white horses, and fake characters, man. Fake history. George Washington and Napoleon are just as fake as Paul Bunyan, it seems.
Well, they definitely came through and renamed everything and changed everything up, so we wouldn't recognize anything from the old world.
There's the allies right there. That's the 2 counter-rotating currents. If you see that head on instead of looking down on it, looks like allies in the sky when that happens.
Okay.
Yeah, the labyrinth is a circuit. Yep. Mm-hmm. What a great video. Yeah. See, I never took the time to a lot of the stuff I know is just kind of like intuitive, and it's just the way the puzzle comes together. It's dots connecting, but I haven't sat down and actually learned all the terminology and real functions of like electricity and stuff.
Yes.
I've done more learning, educating myself about the plasma physics.
Right, right.
But it's so awesome how we each have our own little specialties, and then we can come together and see how the dots connect. Everybody's got their own little piece, and they're all awesome. This is so
I like how you said it's intuitive, because a lot of this stuff that I've learned intuitively. I know it's true. I got to figure it out. I just have to find the evidence to present to people so they can see what I'm saying. And I was like, oh, this is it right here.
100%. The only reason I actually learned the science of it is so I can explain it to other people with some kind of, believability or authority or, sound convincing or smart or whatever. But it's really just all comes from, it's got to be like this, no matter what words you use to say that, however you want to technically get into it, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, a lot of it's interesting. You look at some of the movies and the things that they put in movies, like the Adjustment Bureau. If you ever saw that, they talk about the hat men, and you need the hats to go through the doors. If you don't have the hat, you can't get through certain doors, and you have to go through the substrates and all this stuff. All this stuff is computer lingo. There's doors in computers. There's keys in computers. There's hats in computers, and there's substrates in computers. Well, and once you start looking into all that and you start to realize what's being said here, they tell you in a lot of these movies.
And what if the computers are reverse engineered from us, right? And there's also all that technology exists within our brain. Our brain is a liquid crystal computer, and our pineal gland is an antenna and receiver. And just like Tesla said, we tune in and pick up frequencies, right? Mm-hmm. His brain was only a receiver. So what if we're only open to certain experiences and realizing certain things and seeing certain things if we are tuned the right way? So to speak, these higher levels of reality that some talk about, where they're in union with the divine and things they can't explain to other people,
Hmm.
Other people are frequency locked out of that. They cannot perceive the same thing
Right.
because their radio is not tuned in, because it is only a receiver to pick up on the infinite information in the larger field, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, I think that, once you start to raise your consciousness and start to become aware of these truths, that you're living above the veil of consciousness, where most people are living below the veil of consciousness, like we say, they're still asleep and they're not tuned in. It's maybe like the separation of the wheat and the tares, where there's certain people, these truths are not for everybody. And everybody's not going to get it because everybody's not supposed to get it. But there are people that, like you and like myself and many other people who've done this research and delved into the truth and gone down this road less taken, start to realize how things work and get a better handle on why they've lied, why the manipulation, what is so important that they're hiding that they got to suppress it every day of our lives, 24/7. Even right now, as we speak, they're suppressing us and feeding us this other information like space and galaxies,
Yeah.
all this of the ball Earth and everything. Why couldn't we have known all this time we live on a flat plane? What's so harmful about that? They're trying to hide something major, and there's motive behind these lies. And that's what, I've always tried to get to is the motive.
Of course. And on one level, you could say, okay, it could be as simple as, they know there's resets and they want to live like kings while they're here. So they keep us dumb, sick, and divided so they can filter all the money to themselves. But I think it's deeper than that. I think that might be an aspect of it, but we are so powerful. If each human knew, like, we have enough energy between ourselves, and we're electromagnetic biophotonic beings. We have as much energy as like a nuclear bomb basically within us. If we learn how to focus and make that energy coherent, and like the powers of our intuition and like the pineal gland and the all that stuff, there's no way that there could be the power structures that there are if every human knew what they were capable of. You know what I mean? So they have to lie to us about it to keep us controllable like financial slaves. But what I sometimes think about is things like the placebo effect, right? You eat a sugar pill and your brain tricks you into thinking you get better, right? That's possible on a individual basis, right? There's been studies where transcendental meditation has been done by Buddhist groups, and it's lowered crime rate, right, by over 22% in Washington. So what I think they're really scared of is what we are. I think we're collectively capable of manifesting reality. I think nature has habits, not laws. Rupert Sheldrake talks about that. So I even think that we could collectively manifest through our awareness that it has happened in the past and our awareness that needs to happen again. I think we could basically manifest the event, the judgment.
Well, the thing is that
your screen is frozen. Okay, I just want to let you know. Oh, did she go and I'm still here? No, I'm back in the studio. Okay.
No, you're right there, bro. Now she dumped you. So, a lot of things I disagree with there with this cat, but hey.
I'm back. You're back. Here we are. Sorry about that, guys.
We're good. It's just a brief delay.
I know, and I was going to say something to you too, and it left my head.
Right at 8:08 on my time, so
8:08, it's 9:08 here.
Yeah.
What the heck were you saying that I was going to say something back to you and all that happened? I can't even think now.
Where were we? Collectively manifesting.
Okay. Yes. So I think Shapu had come up, my co-host Shapu had come up with a theory, and I totally agree with it. I think that we are connect it to the reset, to connect it to this X factor, connect it to this God's judgment, if you will. If we go with the God's judgment, right?
Sure.
If you were in line and everybody's, kumbaya and living in love and light and prosperity and abundance, right? The judgment will not be so severe. Look at it this way. Nibiru, when it comes around this time, it won't be so severe. Okay. Because they used to say that about Nibiru. It'd be like, sometimes it's really severe and sometimes it's not so bad when it passes. I think that means, like, when there is a reset, when there is this God's judgment that comes, our judgment's based on how we're living here and how we're connected to the earth and how we're treating the earth and ourselves and each other within, because we are all connected, and people think that we're not connected. We're all, separate in ourselves, but we're actually all connected. So I
mean,
feel
different fingers, but same hand. Yeah, we're all just
definitely.
The Hindus would say we're all Brahma, and
Right.
before we incarnated, we cast an amnesia spell upon ourselves so we can have fun playing with ourselves, basically. Yeah. So. Yeah,
I think we're definitely connected to it. Depends on where humanity's at the time and how severe it's going to be. And look where they have us.
I agree. The thing is we're not swimming in emptiness here. This is fluid. This is air. It's just like water, but you can't see it,
Right.
So,
yep.
And our emotions are electromagnetic energy, and it resonates, and we're in a closed system. So it really creates standing waves of energy that we bathe in. Yeah. So, yeah, I think it's a sentient feedback loop. I do.
Yeah. What do you think about when we leave here? Do you think that we transcend into our original state of being, which is spirit? Or how do you look at that? Do you look at reincarnation?
Well, do you mean when this event happens and if we get saved from it, or do you mean when we pass out of our physical flesh suit, or what do you mean?
When we pass out of our physical flesh suit.
Oh yeah, I think we're infinite. We're infinite. We're true soldiers. We don't die. We keep on rolling.
We go back to source.
Well, I think it happens this way. Look, there's no way for me to know this. I'm just basing this off of what resonates with me internally through my own intuition and what I've read in books, that like parts that have clicked from ancient wisdom and stuff, like the Tibetan Book of the Dead and Buddhist stuff and Egyptian stuff, right? But I think that if you're let's just say if you're not, we'll just say God. I don't care. We can use any name. If you're not in line with God, right? And depending on how severe it is, you could get cast into a lower life form, right? Maybe even at a certain point, your soul gets obliterated and used as fuel source for the black hole sun or something. I don't know. Maybe you could get cast into a pig, or cast into where you don't even have a body and you're a hungry ghost little spirit wandering the earth. I don't know. But I think that the people who are like think about it this way, for like babies who get trafficked, right? The only way for me to make sense out of that, when I know how magical this realm is from my own personal experience when I'm in alignment, is that they are reincarnated and they deserve that because they did something in the past to deserve that, and that's their lot in this life because they earned it, right? It's the only thing that makes sense to me. So, and I think that there are certain people also who don't get to choose, right, where they go next. It's like a repercussion, so they can experience the damage they cause, so that they might not do it again or something. I don't know. Something that they'll only realize when they surface and take off their scuba mask and get to process this reality after they leave the suit, before they dive back down again into the scuba gear or something. Maybe it would be an analogy. But yeah. I think that some of us get to choose. 100% we get to choose. Our soul has been through so many cycles and so many reincarnations, and we've woken up in the past to achieve some level of freedom or nirvana or enlightenment, or there's different names you could call, like escaping samsara or whatever, right? Exiting the dukkha wheel. There's a bunch of stuff you could say. Just that concept, right? Whatever lingo you want to put on it, whatever label or clothes you want to dress on that idea, that we become free from being forced to reincarnate. And then I further think that we can return to the one and take a pause or whatever. But I think some of us choose the Buddhist concept. It's called bodhisattvas. We choose because we just can't stand to think that there's people here. Because I was brainwashed and dumb at one point too, right? I just can't stand to see my brothers and sisters suffering, and at the hands of other people, and partially because of their own, not intentional, but ignorance, right? They're unknowing what they don't know, right? I'm not saying ignorant as an insult. It's just originally used to mean for lack of knowledge, right? Yeah. So I feel, whether it's true or not, or whether it's what I have to tell myself to be okay, or, not saying I'm a divine prophet or something, but I think I'm a bodhisattva. And I think some of us are here
I
too.
think I chose to come here for this time.
Yeah, we just chose to come here because we wanted to help and we wanted to see it. There's a Led Zeppelin song. I'm a traveler of both time and space, right? I sat and talked with elders of a gentle race, few have seldom seen. They talk about a time where all will be revealed. The sun's going to burn the ground, turn everything to brown, right? And then there's another song by a band called Kavinsky where he says, the song's called Plasma, and he says, I'm not going to miss it. I go where I want. I'm going to be there right there when it starts, right? He's talking about walking to, that's like,
it's interesting what you just said about the sun burning the ground, because my other co-host friend, YouTuber Dean, which is Fervent Heat, and Supertramp 65, his other channel, is he had talked about the sun kiss theory that some people have about the X Factor event, where the sun came down almost to the ground and burnt it, and like what you see going across like Asia and Russia, from
and it's
Egypt,
all in a spiral pattern. Yeah, the deserts are in a spiral pattern, and the Greek tell it like this. The Greeks say that Phaeton drove his father's sun chariot. He wanted to prove that he could drive it, and he got it too close to the earth. And that's what made the deserts. The Greeks literally tell us that. And then we'll listen to the Greeks about all kinds of stuff and believe Plato on his history of everything. But then ignore the juicy bits about Atlanta and the sun burning the ground, right? But the thing is, most people don't realize that's in the Bible too. That's in Revelation, or that's in Isaiah 14:12, if I remember right. I know the Bible a lot better than people who think they know the Bible know it. But it's Isaiah 14:12, I think. And it says, to paraphrase, they say, oh, Lucifer, son of the morning. That's Venus.
Mm-hmm.
Lucifer is light bearer in Latin, and the Latin's called Venus, Lucifer. Lucifer. It's not a king of Babylon. It's Venus.
Lucifer
or some
is the night
that we now know as Venus. Oh, how you tried to take over for the Most High and dethrone the Most High. Tried to replace the sun. Oh, and how you fell, Lucifer. And you caused great destructions upon all the nations. You laid low the earth. It's like, what? Like, it's the same story as Phaeton driving his father's sun chariot. And, Velikovsky has a book called World in Collision that says the same thing. And now, whether it's a naturally occurring plasma event where a new ball is generated by the black hole sun and our electromagnetic energy becomes manifest, and that's the judgment, whether it's really Venus, whether it's Nibiru, whether it's the Sirius descending, some kind of big hot plasma ball gets too close to the earth and creates this discharge and fries this place, right? So I hate to get hung up and it has to be this or Venus or Polaris or whatever, but that the idea that this happened is undeniable, and whatever clothes you want to dress it up in and labels and names, and I don't care to be exactly 100% right on if it was Venus or Polaris or natural or whatever, but it happened. And then there's all this comparative mythology that lines up perfect to show you that yes, it did happen, right? So it's wonderful.
Yes. And it was Stefan Pepin was the one who proposed this, the sun kiss proposal.
Cool.
So I don't know if you've heard of Stefan Pepin, but that's who originally, I guess, came up with this theory, or that sounds just like what you're talking about with the Greek story.
Yeah.
Or maybe they even have heard the Greek story and are proposing that that's probably what happened.
I wouldn't doubt it if some native or aboriginal tribe has a very similar story, right? But it's just,
Absolutely.
And what's interesting is Phaeton, right? That's the name of the kid who drove, and it's almost the same as photon. And is Greek for light, right? Nix is Greek for night. So the phoenix, the phonix, was the nightlight. Could have been.
Wow, I like that. That's
really
interesting.
Yeah. Once the discharge happened and caused all the destruction, I think it hung around in its final form for a long time. And I think that was Jesus on the cross, or Odin on the tree, or Prometheus on the mountain. I think it ionized the air around us and provided us a much better atmosphere to be in. And at times before it settled down, it was still emanating discharges, and that's where you get Thor or Zeus from, right? And that thing hung around in our sky as a reminder of the judgment, and it was, maybe they would call it the assembly of the gods, right? And That's why it's the most common trope and found everywhere, right? And it contributed to the ionization of the air that led to a healthier golden age. And get this, if we think about it that way, and that's Jesus suspended up there, and eventually we become backwards and inverted, why did Jesus die again?
For our sins,
For our sins.
our sine waves.
And it's the same thing as the itsy bitsy spider, okay? Because that's grandmother spider too. And there's more branches on top and bottom. So the itsy bitsy spider crawls up the terrapin pole, the beam, the rod, the cross, right?
Right.
Itsy bitsy spider crawls also. Out comes the rain. So after the plasma vaporizes our oceans into a saltwater canopy, and there's that spider or Jesus in our sky hanging on the cross, suspended there.
Yeah.
When the canopy vapor busts, it's going to wash that spider out. Well, then eventually the sun comes back out and dries up all the rain, and then the itsy bitsy spider climbs up the spout again.
It reminds me of the maypoles. You know the maypoles?
It's the same thing. The circus big top, the white stripes, the peppermint patty.
Yeah.
It's all the same thing. You're going to see that. Okay, so here's what's going to happen. Think of the Looney Tunes. That's all, folks. Think about a bullseye, okay? If you're in the center of our realm looking up when this event happens, remember the seals? Those are the electromagnetic tracks that the dusty plasma balls orbit around up there that we call planets, right? Mm-hmm. And when this event happens, it's going to light up those electromagnetic tracks. And from the central view looking up, it's going to look like a bullseye or a target, which was also called a shield or an aegis or an egg in the past. And it's going to be red discharge because Santa's red, right? The lady coming around the mountain with 6 white horses wearing red pajamas, right? George Washington with his red cape, Napoleon with his red cape. That it's going to be red and white like a bullseye or a target. It's going to trace the plasma, the neon gas, going to trace the outlines of that. And from the middle of that, which would be called the zero star, Zoroaster, is going to emerge a god from that middle of that hoop. And that's going to be it. That's all, folks. I'm telling you.
Oh my goodness. I love your enthusiasm for this topic. You have quite an enthusiasm and a passion for this.
Well, because it's so obvious to me, but it's so I know it sounds schizo when I say it if somebody doesn't pick up on it or hasn't seen the video, but it's just I'm passionate about it because I see it so clearly. You know how when you get a intuition about something and you're later proved wrong with the science or proved right with the science? I just come to trust my gut way more over continuously being proven right over again. I just trust my gut now. And when things come together like a puzzle, there's no holes in it. It's like, I'll just say it.
Yeah, I've totally learned to trust my gut for sure. And I really like your concepts, your theories, your ideas. And, you know, whether we agree on everything or we agree on some stuff or whatever, I still respect you as a researcher. And I really appreciate you coming on and sharing all this with us. And I look forward to actually having you come back on again, possibly with a co-host with me. And if you would like to do that, I would definitely like to set that up.
Yeah, no, I've had a blast here, and it's actually 2 hours and 22 minutes and 33 seconds into the stream right now. So what a great time to kind of wrap it up.
Yes,
I do want to say I want to just especially for the audience, not just for me and you, because I think you and I talked a little bit before the chat, and we're all on the same page of the last thing that this community needs and this kind of truth is more division. Right. So I've been toning down. Trying to, especially after recent events, I'm passionate. I get fired up. So I'm trying to tone down and present things in a less controversial way. And the last thing, not just from me, but everybody, because I've seen the meltology community fracture in the past too, right? The last thing we need is more division. Most of us, I could even say, if you're tuned in and you're watching, unless you're just a troll, you have to agree with at least 80% of this stuff, right? And, you know, there's not many people in this world who you could agree with 80% of the stuff on. So these are our people where we need to just ignore that 20%, not get into fights over it, not butt heads over it, not call people names over it, not try to prove our way or say this guy's stupid for thinking this. And we always need to hug over that additional 20% and agree on the 80%. And I think that's very important. So yeah, like you said, even if we don't agree on everything, it doesn't matter. We're venturing into very, very highly uncharted territories with lots of theories. And we don't have to get too attached to that to the point where we butt heads. And I think this has been a beautiful conversation.
Yes,
And,
absolutely. I
I
agree.
thank you for having me on, and I would definitely look forward to being on your channel again, and with anybody else you wanted to bring on.
All right. Well, that's awesome. Thank you so much, Joshua. I had a great time tonight, and we're going to get ready to get out of here. We're at 39 people here right now. We were up in the 40s there for a little bit, which is great. So we had a nice crowd in here tonight, and everybody was really, really gracious in here. And we also shared your channel as well a few more times here in the chat. And I
Thanks,
wanted to
Curtis.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you,
you,
Jen.
Curtis. And what I always say when I end my shows is the only thing that evil needs to prevail is for good men and women to stand by and do nothing. Let it not be said that we stood by and did nothing. I love you guys, and we are out of here. And we are going out with a song tonight. All right. Class is dismissed.
Alright, Jen ended that stream. So thanks, Jen. Thanks there, Bricknosis, or what was the guy's name? Plasmanosis, or something like that. Electric Gnosis. Electric Gnosis, thank you. I wrote Bricknosis just because I've been smoking a little bit. So, that was all cool and all. Let's see how it's going here. Okay. Ah. Everything's going there, so we restreamed it there, and let's see if thanks for that. We got it all down there. See, we got some comments here. Let's see what's going on here. Oh, Eli Buchanan, what's up, brother? So let's go get out of here for a second. What's up, Shawnee B? Oh, you got a new icon there? Oh, I can't see it so small. I'm gonna have to check it out, man. Is that what that guy's name is, Josh? So what's going on here? Nothing. No, we can close that there. Okay, I gotta do something here. Sorry, folks. I gotta get water. Technical issues. I don't know what happened there. Let's see here. Alright. Okay, so what's going on here? What do we got on the screen? Nothing. Okay. We're done with that. Let me close this window capture here. And we dump that out of there. What's up? So let's see what's going on here. I got a book over here. View my channel. I didn't want to go to YouTube Studio. What the hell? I shouldn't have smoked that doobie, huh? So let's see here. I'm gonna try to boot over here because I was in Jen's. So I got Shawnee B there, my channel. Electric Gnosis, live, view my channel, and there we are there. Daniel Triplet, what's up, man? Good to see you, brother. Okay, we got it back up in the air. All right, all right, all right. So, you tell me, Shawnee B. What's wrong with your keyboard, brother? Let's see what's going on here. Let me close this up here because I can't even see me. I have on my video, it's called a filter, and it's image mask blend, and I can't see me right now with it, so I'm gonna change it. See something that's something a little bit better. Let's see if you can see me there. There we go. That's better. There. Okay. So I rebroadcasted. Dang it! I need an extra hand, man. Hey. Oh, I know what it is. Filter, image mask blend. Oh, because you can't blend it with multiple, because then you can't see me. So anyway, well, I learned something on my OBS here. If I didn't do nothing else, so what the hell? So, what up? So that was pretty good. I didn't agree with everything the dude said, um, but he's got a lot of subs already, and he doesn't seem to be as shadow banned as most melt heads I know. So, what's up, Bruce? I'd like to have any comments about what we saw and what you think about that gentleman that just presented some information for all of us to hear on Jen's channel. And I want to thank Jen and all you people um, for making some noise and being there, because it made my day, man. I've been sick, man, for a while. I couldn't shake it, and I had to keep going out shoveling. I didn't get better. Today is the first day I really feel kind of normal. So, I don't know if any of us are normal, but check out this hood I got, man. This is a beautiful hood, man. It's electric, man. I could go outside. It comes down damn near to my knees. I go outside, turn that puppy on, and get cooking out there, man. Real beautiful. My girl got that for me. So Daniel Triplet, hope everything's going good for you out there in Oklahoma with the farm and the family. What's the link to her site? It's right in the description box. It should have been on the stream. Let's see if it is. I know it's in the chat. I don't know if it's in the description box. Meltology 101. Copy link. That should be it right there. That should be it right there. Hey, who I got in here? Meltological, Daniel, Shawnee B. I'm booted up in my Chief Joseph account. Okay, I didn't know I was in my Chief Joseph account. Let me book over to my Red Brick account. Well, if I do that, let's see. Yeah, I could do that. switch account. I'll switch to my Red Bricks account. There, that's better. Hey, this hood is good for about 4 hours outside, So I didn't have it on here because it's pretty warm in the house, but I just didn't take off the hood because my feet were a little cold still from being outside. Okay, you got that link? Great, man. So yeah, I thought, man, I try to get some more watch hours and see that's how YouTube keeps us in the back corner, man. Can you imagine that? Not one new soul came in the whole 2 hours, and then I went on my other devices and scrolled and scrolled and scrolled in lives to try to find me, and nothing. Okay, you depending on battery power? Nothing wrong with that, bro. So, we have Shawnee B here, uh, Bruce, and Daniel Triplet. Um, oh, Daniel. Oh, okay, I thought you were talking about your whole farm you running on batteries. You got a heated jacket for Christmas. Nice, man. And it's 10:30. So, kind of tired. Been a long day. So let's see what's going on here. Yeah, that's better. The audio okay? 8 hours. That's nice. That's nice, man. Uh, who's the maker of that? So that's not bad. I only had 64 drop frames. Other people were saying that Jen's channel was buffering. It didn't buffer for me, but it did boot them off twice, and it's probably because of all the bad extreme weather all over these United States of America. So I had some good laughs in there and heard some stuff and heard some perspectives of other things. Some of the things I already investigated into, which I didn't agree with the guy about tree rings and petroglyphs, and he could prove it. And I think meltology proves it a little bit sounder in regard to one great big melt occurred, and other little things that occurred thereafter was man reinventing the past and using electricity and floods and so forth, and the cover-ups and the lies and the wars and explosions and blah 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 blah. You know what I mean? So that's my thought about that. Uh, and not to belittle the guy or anything. That's just my opinion. That's just my opinion, folks. So don't hit me with the brick. So I've never left my hood on for 4 hours with the battery on. If I have three settings, hot, medium, and then just warm, right? And I put it on hot. Man, it's when you have it on hot, you could be outside in really cold temperatures. Um, but you have to have that battery in your pocket if you're minus temperatures, it'll freeze that battery up. So lithium batteries can't withstand sub temperatures very well. You know what I mean? So you got to have that battery close to your body. But don't get no salt on it because it may explode on your ass. Okay, the Anchor brand and the coat doesn't have any identifiers, huh? All right. So, well, thanks. Because I seen some really nice one, but they're a little bit too expensive for my taste. They had some pants like that. They had a jacket like that, and gloves that attached with the USB connector. And I said that's too much money for what they wanted for it. So, right, right. So I got a call today from my niece, my brother who died, daughter. That's my niece, Jolene. She lives in Germany and just visited Spain with her new boyfriend. So I was on Google Earth for a while, looking up where the dude lives, and it's um, Uzbekistan. Um, Uzbekistan is where he lives in the Middle East there, and I was checking it around and looking at the history and reading the history about that. And I've been to some of those regions before and had relatives over in Afghanistan helping do crazy shit over there, when we were protecting them opium fields and whatnot. So it's kind of interesting. His name's Abraham. He's a Sunni Muslim. She really likes him. She just turned 21. She's 21. She's going to school in Germany, and she's a doll. So I had a great 2-hour conversation with my brother's daughter, who I miss dearly, and I wish her well. So, and she really likes him. She's a good judge of character. So, other than that, this is called what's it called? Brooktone. The hood I'm wearing's called Brooktone. And I went through their website. They ain't worth the shit. Their website sucks, so hopefully this is better than their website. So I don't know what else to say, fellas. It's only me. It looks like it's only me and you left here anyway, so. Daniel Triplet, thanks for stopping by. God bless you, your family, and all your critters. Keep them warm and safe and yourself. And thanks, Shawnee B, Bruce, and who else stopped by? Shawnee B, Bruce, and Daniel Triplet. That's it. That's all the people that stopped by. Thank you, man. Peace. Love your neighbor like you love yourself. I'm out of here. I'm gonna go sit and watch some TV with my girl for a little bit. So, I'm out of here. Peace.